5 years ago, the current Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, has made a statement that Islamic culture is not compatible to European values. And today, this video is making round on social media again, which instigated the debate around the same topic. And Giorgia Meloni has such a view um, from very beginning. If you see, she has written one foreword for a magazine also which also discussed the same kind of theme. Um, and no wonder when we see that such a statement coming from such a responsible office, uh, uh, converting into the policies which is also discriminative against Muslim or even Islam, because Italy recognized 13 religion including Judaism and Hinduism, but does not give the same legal acknowledgement to the Islam and Muslim. So when we see such a remark against very generalized remarks against like Muslim population or Islamic value, so we just crying Islamophobic, or giving this tag of Islamophobia will not work anymore, because there are problem and we have to look into it. We have to go into the root and understand from where the problem start, and is it right to even generalize and say that there cannot be any solution to it or not. But before going into the solution, we have to acknowledge the root problem. And there it's like very visible when we see a lot of incident which has happened on the European soil. There has been history of terrorist attack in the name of the jihad. So when you see the political Islam and how it get used against the Europe, and a passion to conquer the West, when we see that kind of mindset, we can easily understand where problem lies. Apart from the other cultural values, which is very different to the Western liberal ideas. In 2016, I remember Gaddafi made a statement where he said that inshallah there are 50 million Muslims there, and inshallah soon we will rule the West European country nations without even any sword, or without shooting any bullet. So when such a statement comes from a, a renowned Muslim public figure, so it is not a responsibility of European leader. It is actually the Muslim leader who is putting forward such an idea that we do want to conquer you. We see you as a land where we have to fight and win over. So that kind of statement definitely dehumanize Muslim, definitely bring more fear for the Islamic culture value, or bring a generalized stereotype for the Muslims, or more than coming from other side and as a form of criticism. Apart from that, there has been a lot of issue in the past. If we remember the Charlie Hebdo, not only the Charlie Hebdo, we have been seeing time and again that a lot of people demand that the Western schools in the UK, for example, do not include the chapter on LGBTQ, because it goes against their own moral values, because they have a certain interpretation, and then they want to enforce that over everyone else to follow those moral values, moral compass, which is where problems start, and conflict. We see the conflict between two values. So we have to acknowledge those problems. However, while acknowledging those problems, we cannot just paint everyone in the same brush. You would see, if you would really like go into in depth, you would see that a lot of so many Muslims living in the European nation or Western nation have adopted their way of life. They made perfect blend of where they follow their faith in their personal life. At the same time, they are in very sync with the liberal democratic values. And I have given such example, like UK Parliament member Sajid, who was the one who made sure that Shamima Begum cannot re-enter in the London, in the UK, sorry. And he faced a lot of backlash from the left, from the Islamist cabal for that, but he stick to the his position. So these are few examples. There are so many, and I just mentioned one. Apart from that, I believe that European nations somehow fail also to understand the the value of Islam. What is political Islam? They do not understand it very well. Their expertise lack an understanding, and they need to work more in that regards. In that regard, they have started doing it, but still a lot more has to be done. I mean, if you talk about even Islamists, the Islamists are not even homogeneous block. They even have a classification within them. I mean, there are a group of Islamists who want to follow violence like ISIS and Al Qaeda to achieve their goal. Then there are Salafis who have same goals, but they do not believe to resort to the violence. And then we have like people, individual unorganized people who have a same mindset, but then they use democratic tools. They use tools of this progressive liberal nation to undermine their values and bring Islam as a solution to every problem. And that is the real problem. As long as you keep Islam as your personal faith, as your guidance of your morality, spirituality in your personal life, fine. When you start furthering the idea that Islam can solve all the problem in this society, there we start feeling very badly. So these nuances European nation has to understand and grasp more. Plus, I also tried to look into the Muslim majority country within the European boundary, and I found one country like Albania, and it is a Muslim majority country, and the minorities are like 35% around Christians. However, Albania also has a history of saving Jewish people when they were getting persecuted throughout all the other European nations. So if you look into the law basically, so Albania doesn't oppress LGBT people. They have a, I mean, I'm not talking about societal position, I'm talking about the legal position. So they have a law anti-discriminatory against the LGBTQ people, though still they don't recognize the same sex marriage till now. And they do not have any law regarding the blasphemy, unlike so many other Muslim majority country. And even interfaith marriage is very common in Albania. There is no such rule against it. So when we see that Albania has adopted a lot of European values, the life their culture is very different, though they are Muslim majority and they follow the Islam religion. And same time, a lot of people put forward the argument that it is because of the Soviet and communist ideology, influence of communist ideology. However, if you will read the history, you would know that the communist regime used to be called repression time. And in 92, the Democratic Party won their election, and after that it's liberty and people choose their government from multi-party system. So you can clearly see that they are very in sync with Western values. So making a generalized statement just like Italian Prime Minister has made is it doesn't seem very right thing to do. However, at the same time there is problem, and we have to acknowledge that. Thank you.